Hi guys, Hal DeMarco here, General Manager of the world's largest online sports handicapping website in the world, and that is VegasSportsAdvisors.com. And this is going to be your Friday video report. One of the things that I enjoy most as a handicapper in the middle of the night, after all the games are finished, reading every single game recap from Associated Press, visiting some of the teams, their local newspapers to see what the beat writers have to say about a certain game, and then pouring through the box scores as well, because that is the basis of what makes me a handicapper. Those things that I glean from other sources, I carry them over, and there's little things that I pick up on that may, down the road, influence a play either positively or negatively. And it comes from my experiences originally as being a sports reporter for 8 years. That's what I did before I got into this business about 20 years ago. And nothing has changed other than the internet has made it great because the beat writers, they are the eyes and ears for me here so I can be aware of teams coast to coast, what they're doing. One of the games that I thought was interesting last night was the Gonzaga Pepperdine game in the West Coast Conference. Gonzaga was a 12-point favorite, and I had handicapped the game yesterday. I thought Pepperdine had a chance in that game. I thought it was a big number, even though Gonzaga had dominated the series. I looked at Pepperdine, and hey, the Waves went to BYU a couple of weeks ago as a 15-point road dog and won the game outright in Provo. So they certainly had some cred. So I'm looking at the final score, and I see Gonzaga, a 12-point favorite. They win by 2 points. I think it was 78-76. On the surface, you go, hey, Pepperdine played a great game. But here's a little FYI for you. Gonzaga arrived for that game 15 minutes before tip-off because of traffic conditions on the PCH. Pepperdine agreed to delay the start of the game 33 minutes. So, I don't know if Gonzaga's players got dressed on the bus. I don't know if they ran into the locker room and immediately ran out. I do know one thing, even though they jumped out to the early lead, they didn't play well in the game. It was certainly reflected at the free throw line where they only hit 14 of 33 shots. I mean, listen, you left a minimum of 19 points on the floor there. And if they were the front end of one-on-ones, you potentially left even more points on the floor. So, if you happen to win with Pepperdine last night, you can thank the traffic issues on the PCH. Another interesting game last night was Utah against Arizona State. There's a Utes team that was 3-0 already in the Pac-12. You had an Arizona State team that opened its portion of the conference schedule with 3 straight road games and lost them all. You had an Arizona State team that had just one loss, I think, in its last 17 home games, and that was a triple overtimer to Lehigh earlier this season. What happens? Utah, 5.5, 6-point favorite, just rolls. I thought it might be a potential trap game because the Utes, of course, are going to Tucson to take on Arizona on Saturday, and you can naturally understand how this could potentially be a look-ahead game. They had been idle for a week. Didn't bother. Utes just rolled over them and easily. Herb Sendek's Sun Devils off to an 0-4 start. Now, for your free pick today, guys, I am going to go with the San Antonio Spurs. The San Antonio Spurs playing at home, about a 4.5-point favorite over the Portland Trailblazers. Listen, the Trailblazers have won the first 2 games this season series, but Tony Parker has missed both of them. And it's not that Parker is playing well right now, because he is not. But the reason I like the Spurs tonight is they are anticipating the return of Kawhi Leonard, who has been out since, ironically, the last time these two teams met in mid-December with a torn ligament in his hand. Now, the Spurs are just 7-8 in the games he has missed this season. Here's the irony. Even though he's missed all these games since December 15th, he is right now the team's leading scorer and number 2 rebounder at 15.2 points and 7.6 rebounds a game. Blazers are coming off a 194 loss to the Clippers in LA on Wednesday. Of course, they had won 13 of the previous 15, but I like the Spurs in this particular game. Remember, Spurs last year in the postseason swept out Portland, but the Trailblazers have actually dominated the series. 15 of the last 21 regular season meetings have gone Portland's way. I do like the Spurs, but here's your disclaimer. You know how it goes with Greg Popovich. You never know who he's going to play on a day-to-day basis. As it is, Kawhi Leonard, he'll go through the Friday morning shoot-around, and then they'll make a final decision whether he's going to play. Just because he's listed as probable and is expected to be available, that doesn't mean he's going to play. Or he could play, and Popovich could say, hey, Timmy, take the night off. Tony, take the night off. Manu, take the night off. You just don't know what you're getting with Popovich. So unless you're a psychic, unless you know Greg Popovich, hey, take it with a grain of salt with that selection, okay? I also kind of like the Dallas Mavericks minus the points at home against Denver, even though the Mavericks have not been playing well. The only problem is I don't know if Rajon Rondo is going to be playing. Not that he's been playing well here of late, cold as ice from the field, But if he's not in the lineup, I have my qualms about backing Dallas in this particular contest, even though they have a nice backup point guard in Devin Harris. I looked at that Atlanta-Toronto game. Atlanta's just been a moneymaker in Vegas, on the floor. They've been dynamite. Toronto's a 1-point favorite. Raptors have lost 5 out of 6 before beating Philadelphia the other night. They won by 16 lengths, 16 or 16 and a half, but they struggled in the first half. They've not been playing well, but they are the healthiest they've been probably in a couple of months. So I kind of lean toward Toronto in that game, but I think it's going to be the best game to watch from a fan standpoint here tonight. So anyway, your official free pick, the San Antonio Spurs. I wish you well, guys, and I will catch you again on Saturday here on Roku and on Vegas Sports Advisors. Good luck, everybody.